Come on, sis. Today's topic will make you think about your childhood. Stand in solidarity with us as we talk to some real people today. If you need help with reconnecting with real life, you need to tell your story, or maybe you've recently lost a loved one, then yes, you should follow us on Instagram at PS Consulting Firm. I am your host, Portia, aka Truly Portia, and we have
I'm your host, Stacy J. And I just want to take a quick little second to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm Stacy J. Some of the things that I love to do is to educate and empower Black women. We are each other's best advocates, and I'm so looking forward to building a community of sisterhood of women who look just like Portia and I, women who can who understand the value of reaching back to help their sister. So I'm just excited to get started. What about you, Portia? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Stacy. Now, what Stacy didn't tell you is what she was working on before we even started this, and I admire her so much. I think if the world had more Stacys in the world, to uplift and empower, seriously, to uplift and empower the youth. Again, just what you've done recently with the group meetings that you had with the younger girls. I really wish that I had something like that more consistently when I was coming up. But a little bit about me. I am your virtual assistant sister. So anything that you could possibly need help with online, hey, I'm here, okay? But my biggest thing as well, is just really helping others, especially Black women. Again, I think there's not enough of individuals in this world who are really looking to genuinely help the next woman. And if we all could do that, man, imagine where we would be. I love to sing and dance and talk to people, but ultimately my main goal is really to help. I really feel like that's what I was created to do. So I'm here to do that. And this is one of the ways that I can make a difference. So here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. Yes. So now that we've shared a little bit about ourselves, let's jump right into it. Being unable to concentrate or focus really is something that a lot of us may struggle with. And lifestyle changes like lack of sleep, juggling a lot of things, family, different jobs, just everyday life, that could definitely be something that could cause you to feel like you've hit rock bottom. And I can definitely attest to the fact that I've hit rock bottom and almost lost sight of everything. But I began changing my life. And there are some things that I've done to do that. And I want to share those tips with you. But before I give this to you for free, my special host, Stacy, and I would love to talk a bit about our topic. Let's take a trip down memory lane really quick and talk about what's missing today. So, Stacy, I got to ask you, what do you miss about your childhood? And if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently? And you can start, any way you want to.
I actually had a pretty awesome childhood. And what I miss most about my childhood is just the absolute freedom. My parents were always there to assist me, encourage me, cover me, guide me. And same with my family, my extended family. Like on my street, growing up, it was our house, my grandma's house, my great grandma's house, and it was 4 houses of family growing up. So we were super, super close knit. Even to this day, it's still 4 houses of family. We did lose one house one time for a number of years, maybe 20 years, but my brother was able to buy the house back. So it's back in the family. And so it was just a certain level of safety and freedom when I think about my childhood. Even now, as old as I am, I still go to my parents' house and just turn it on that street. I just always feel so happy and relieved. Like, I loved my childhood. And if there was anything that I would tell my younger self or what I know now that I didn't know then, I would say, you know what, take your time. Take some time to figure out who you really are outside of what anybody is telling you from media and all these things. Like, just find out who Stacey is and who Stacey wants to be. I think if I were able to talk to myself, you know, my younger self, I would encourage my younger self to challenge myself a little bit more. Don't always take the easy road, because the road does not always yield, or hardly ever yields, the results that you need to grow, learn, and prosper. And one example I can share is that I feel like I went to college thinking that I knew what I wanted to do. But when you really think about it, at 18, how do you know yourself well enough to know what you want to be doing when you're 40? So I feel like if we could change the education system to help people figure out who they are and what their interests are by like shadowing on different industries, I probably would have been a lawyer.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, hold on. See, I ain't know that.
Been a lawyer, I probably would have, you know, decided to challenge myself versus taking the easy route and just studying fashion. Okay. And I don't want to offend anybody by that. I do have a degree in fashion merchandising, but I feel like that's something for me. This is just me. That's something that I could have learned through using different resources without having now student loan payments that I'm still paying back, right? Versus really challenge myself, I would have went to law school and, you know, would have been feeling like I'm making a significant difference. Hopefully that's what I would feel like. Yes, as Portia mentioned, I do mentor, and I did have a group of young ladies ages 12 to 19 who I was mentoring for an extended period. And I often encourage them to find out who they are, what they truly want to do, what their real interests are, and pursue that. Sometimes your gifts, your talents, that's the Holy Spirit tapping you on the shoulder to remind you of your destiny. So the things that may come easy to you, that aren't, that you feel like, oh, I've always been able to do this, that might be the Holy Spirit telling you this is a part of your destiny. And so with that, even though it may come easy to you, once you get into the industry, you will see, okay, there's some refining that I need to do. There's some knowledge that I need to gain. And that's what I would tell myself. And I would tell my younger self, don't rush to be an adult, girl, because listen, nobody told me that being an adult is this ghetto. It's super ghetto out here. It's ratchet out there. It's terrible out here. Like, you know, just take time. We always, as kids and even adults, we always are looking to get to the next level, to the next stage, without really taking time to enjoy the moment without rushing. We're, you know, just sit and just love where you are. And I wish I had done that more, like just sitting on my parents' front porch, just on summer days, you know, just that easy living. That's not to say that was everybody's childhood, but for those who do have a generally, you know, easy childhood, loving parents and guardians and things like that, like lean into that, sit still, and just cherish those moments, because you will never, ever, never get those back. I know I said that.
No. That I'm glad you shared first, because like you said, not everyone had that childhood experience. Okay. So for me to even have a connection with somebody like you, it's so refreshing, because I'm reminded time and time again that lifestyle does exist. People like that do exist. You know, families are like that. There's a such thing as a 2-parent household. And I'm not saying that I didn't know that, but you know, when you haven't seen it before, it's like, wow, like, oh my God, really? And to feel that, when you talk about it, when I see you, when the family reunion that you guys had, being a part of that just, again, was so refreshing because
of course, to our family reunion. It was like a fun day because we wanted to get together when COVID numbers weren't so high, even though they're going back up now. I just felt like it was real necessary for us to start getting together as a family outside of funerals, outside of bad times, and just to remind each other, like, okay, we have a great family, and it's good to see each other on Facebook and online and all that stuff like that, but it's not the same as being in the same space as people. And I was glad that you were able to make it to our family fun day, Portia. And I mean, I consider you family, so that's what I think. Come on, girl.
Need some tissue. No, but seriously, again, just having that experience and hearing you talk about it now, it makes me light up. Because like I said, when you haven't seen that before, it's like, wow, it does exist. You don't have to just watch TV to fantasize about like a family life like that. And then it's a lot of things I've learned too, just in our time of being friends. And I swear it feels like a lifetime. It hasn't been that long, but still. But childhood for me was a little, the opposite, the complete opposite. I was raised by a single mom, but again, there was still this sense of freedom that I had when I was a child. Didn't have a care in the world, didn't have a worry in the world. Now that sometimes, became tough in a sense, but I learned to connect myself with different things. And the creativity nowadays, like a lot of it's depending on technology, social media, but we use simple things like playing with, did you ever play with GIMP before? Do you know what GIMP is?
No, what's that? It's like,
oh my gosh, you don't know what GIMP is. I don't even really know like what it is either, but we would use it and you make like these little designs. Stacey, you got to look it up on YouTube.
Those string things that you make.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I never knew the name of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We like weave it together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I learned to really just use my time, my free time, being a kid, just being outdoors and just having fun, being on the swings, playing at the playground, taking a walk. Like we used to walk everywhere. There were corner stores up the street from us. So we would sometimes like make little runs for our grandma. She'd give us a couple dollars, like, hey, go give me this. We had a neighborhood candy lady. We had two of them, matter of fact. And we would go down there and, knock on their door. And I was fortunate to have an after school program. So we spent a lot of time there. We took field trips. So a lot of my childhood was really surrounding myself with other people who, didn't have as much as I did, but we really learned to enjoy the simple things in life. Yeah. It didn't take much for us to like be thankful and grateful and have a good time. And something I would do differently or tell myself, my younger self, would be, just be aware of who you are, and love yourself wholeheartedly, no matter what the world may tell you should be or what you should do. Know who you are and love yourself. And I think a lot of times when I think back to not having that conversation being told to me, or, just having those individuals that I wish were like, more positive, things like that, that could kind of take a toll on you if you don't take the proper steps to like address those feelings, those emotions, those past, experiences. But a lot of my childhood compared to adult life, I mean, I would actually rather go back to being a kid because it's a lot out here in these streets. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's a lot. Okay. But my mom, one thing that I learned from her, you gotta go to work. You gotta work. That's the only way you're gonna produce in this life. But kind of similar to what you shared about college, I just wish that conversation was different too. That's not the ultimate, success of life when you go to
can pave a path to success without having to necessarily go to college.
And again, this is not to knock any colleges or anything like that, anybody pursuing a college degree or anything like that. It's just, you have to really know who you are in order for that decision. And then sometimes, you have to take a detour, experience different things, try out different. Like if you said you wanted to be a chef, try it for a bit. If you try it, you get the experience and you don't like it, then move on to the next thing. But to go invest time like I did, and mine wasn't with college, it wasn't a straight walk either. Like I started and stopped college 3 or 4 times. And I wish I would have took those breaks to really understand, like, hey, this is a sign that you need to understand what you want to do. Instead, am I or not? I've already had that conversation with my babies, and it's something that we talk about almost every day, because I'm reminding them that you can be whatever it is that you want to be. And my son, he's very outgoing, but also reserved. But when he goes outside, it's so funny. Like to see him outside, he's like so loud and talkative. I'm like, who is this little guy? Because sometimes, he's really quiet. But I've told him, like, you can be whatever you want to be. And with them being so young, I'm sure that their talents and skills are going to change. Already, like, with my son, he's a people person. People can connect with him. So I've told him, you're a leader. So no matter what you do, you are a leader. I put him in a different STEM program, which allows him to work on like his engineering skills. I think that would be awesome for him. He loves math. He loves science. So we've already talked about, I might say it wrong, architectural engineer. We talked about that, but he loves music too. So I'm a realistic person, right? Now, do I want my son to be in my basement making music? No, I don't. I don't. I was ready to curse. No, I don't. But do I see that he has a love for music? I do see it. And I am doing everything I can to allow him to grow in his talents. If that's something he loves, I don't believe in taking that away from your kids, because there's a way he could make a successful lifestyle career out of that too. But I also do want him to have like at least, some type of trade under his belt. So whether that be in something related to STEM, he is into sports too. So he wants to do basketball now. But like I said, they're young, their talents and skills are still growing and flourishing and blossoming. My daughter, she can take control over any room, anywhere she go. I can see her being a lawyer. I can see her being a lawyer. I can see her being a doctor as well. But the more we just sit down and really focus in on like where their talents and strengths are, I think the more clear we'll be on like what path will work best for them, as far as setting them up into the right programs and getting them started early in those classes and things like that. Because I don't want them to waste their time or my time or anybody's money or go into debt by going to college if that's not gonna be something that's gonna benefit them. Because it's their life, and I don't believe in taking my dreams and dumping it on my kids and like forcing it on them.
Right. Vicariously through them, because you missed out on certain things, so now you're pushing it off on them. Yeah.
So that's how we rolling over here. But I tell my kids, you can be whatever it is you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. But I do see their talents and things now. So, we put them in different programs, and we're going to see where it goes. We're going to pray and see where it goes, because that's all you can do, honestly, because it could change next year. He might not want to do sports anymore at all, because they both were just playing baseball. And when the season ended, he went to camp this summer, played basketball at the Boys and Girls Club, and came home, was like, Mom, I want to play basketball. I've never seen my son on a basketball court. Okay, I'm going to say that. I've never seen him. But the way he lit up when he said he wanted, I said, okay, we'll do it.
You are paying attention to their interest, making sure that they're good. So they won't be.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So they won't have any, they'll be able to have some very positive memories about their childhood. So that's awesome.
Yes. Now, what would you say is something that you want to share with baby JoJo? Whatever.
So my son, Josiah, he is not even 2. He's so independent, so stubborn, so strong-willed. And so I buy him a lot of different books with Black characters, little Black boys doing a lot of different things, because I want him to understand that you can do anything you want to do. The sky's the limit. Don't put yourself into a box, as long as you understand Christ first. Like, with Christ, anything is possible. Like, impossibility is, that's what God specializes in. Some of the interests that he really, really has right now, planes. Like, he loves planes. So we have a book that talks about a little boy being a pilot. It's a book with little Black boys doing all different types of things, being a chef.
What's the name of that book? We might have the same book.
Girl, I can't even think of it right now.
I was sitting here as you were saying, books with Black characters. I bought them a ton of books off of Amazon. Yeah.
Black characters. And even I'm very mindful to make sure he sees himself on TV. Like, when he was younger, maybe like 9 or 10 months, LeBron James had a commercial to come on, and he stopped in his tracks and just watched the commercial. And so yesterday, Nick Cannon has a talk show that debuted yesterday. And so I watched it because Josiah was with me, and I wanted him to see himself. I wanted him to see a representation of a Black man, well put together, successful, and you can be on TV, not just bouncing the basketball. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of times we generalize and stereotype our young Black boys who turn into young Black men, and they think, oh, I only have a certain path that I can take, which is not true. Like, my husband and I make sure that we talk about making sure that Josiah is exposed to so many different things, from skateboarding to my husband about going to the X Games. So when he gets a little older, we're going to make sure that he sees different types of stuff, not just
it's not just basketball and football.
Right. Want to expose him to a lot of different things until he figures out what his genuine interests are. And then from there, once he figures out what his interests are, we can help him create a path to making sure that he's able to sustain himself and his family through whatever career path he wants to take. I don't care if he wants to be a plumber or a brain surgeon. As long as it's a honest living and you can sustain yourself and your family, I'm cool.
And see, that's what I was saying, girl. Yes. I got a little scared when I saw, I'm not gonna lie, like when he said something about, well, to see him light up about music, that did scare me. Because a lot of times you see our Black boys out here trying to be rappers and all this. I'm like, look,
did he a engineer, a musical engineer? He could be a producer. There's a lot of different things, in
the music industry. Yeah.
But it's
just being aware.
To. It's a lot of different things that we aren't exposed to, so we don't even know that that's a possibility. And that's why, the phrase representation matters is so significant, because if you don't see people who look like you doing things that you had no idea even necessarily existed, then you feel like that's impossible. But I want him to understand there's no such thing as impossible. That's what I'm teaching my son. There's no such thing as impossible. We're just gonna help you figure out what you want to do.
Again, we need more Stacey's out here.
Definitely.
Thank you. So what would you say about like going out today? I know I talked about, like when I go out, I am taking like necessary precautions and things like that. But with the world we live in today, even with the virus and stuff, like compared to back then, again, the simple stuff, was what we enjoyed. Going to the movies. I don't even know. I can't remember the last time I really went to the movies. I think I went once this year, but it's still not the same.
I went to the movies. I was about 8.5 months pregnant with Josiah. And we went and saw the Will Smith movie, Gemini Man. And it was just basically me and my husband in the theater and maybe one other couple. When we went like on a weekday in the middle of the day. So I don't know what the future is going to look like, of course, for Josiah or any of us really going out public. For me, I don't like to be around a lot of different people now. We talked earlier about the family fun day that we had, but to be honest, not too long after that, we had another family gathering, and a lot of people, several people, maybe 5 of my family members had COVID after that. Not saying that they got it from each other, they actually got it from different places, but they ended up, having to tell everybody, having to, quarantine and all these different things. The kids weren't able to start school on time. They started school 2 weeks late. They were doing things virtually when they had enough strength to do it. I really don't go to a lot of different places now. COVID numbers had started to subside, but then as soon as we started opening things back up, people started letting their guard down. People are saying they're vaccinated when they're really not. So they feel like they don't have to wear their mask. I am vaccinated, but I still wear my mask. I don't go to too many places if I don't have to, mainly just my parents' house, the doctor, and the grocery store. And really, for the most part, I do my groceries through pickup. And I only go inside the grocery store if I have to. So it's unfortunate that Josiah doesn't know just yet what it feels like to go to church. And so I do miss that element of, freedom. I had no idea about, a virus that could basically shut everything down, change your whole entire life. Like COVID really hit 3 months after Josiah was born. So he's never been into a store before. He's been to a restaurant before, but of course we put his mask on and we sit with social distancing measures in place. We wipe our hands down with antibacterial wipes. We wipe the table down with antibacterial wipes. His booster seat, we wipe that down. Even when we go to the park, like we take Lysol and wipes to wipe the swings down and the slides down, because this is an ever evolving thing and we don't know who can and cannot get sick. At first they were saying, kids at a certain age couldn't get sick, but the kids in my family, they were 7, 8, and 12 when they got sick with COVID. And so I don't want my almost 2-year-old to be sick with COVID, because what can be done for him? That's the reason why my husband and I got vaccinated, was because, you can go out and touch something. I could go to the mailbox, touch the mailbox, don't realize it, rub my nose, rub my eye. Next thing I know, I got COVID. And then I have to quarantine from my not even 2-year-old son. How am I going to quarantine from him for 2 weeks? He's not going to understand that. And so that's the reason why I got the vaccine, was because I wanted to make sure that I did everything in my power to make sure that I'm always present for him and my husband as well. But of course, he would be able to cope much easier without me for 2 weeks. But would he be able to cope with a very high-spirited, energetic 20-month-old who does not easily take no for an answer? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, going out is very, very far and few in between. I stopped going to restaurants after I heard that the numbers are going up with these different variants. It's unfortunate, but I would rather do what I have to do now until this thing goes away. And if we all looked at it like that, then I think it would go away a lot faster. Kids are back in school now. They are not able to social distance like, they're supposed to. I mean, if you have a classroom full of 30 kids, how can y'all sit 3 to 6 feet apart? How can you expect kids to keep their mask on for 8 hours a day? Like, these are unrealistic expectations. And so I feel like the kids should still be virtual or at least hybrid. So they're only going to school, 2 days a week based on
Girl, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
Make more sense, So yeah, I don't do a lot of running around just because I'm very cautious. I even have a travel size Lysol. Like, no, I set in my spray. Like if I take my car to get an oil change and they, touch my steering wheel and things like that, got in my car. I don't know where y'all been at, what y'all been doing. So spray, spray, spray. You can't be too safe. My main concern is my health and the health of my loved ones, especially my husband and my son.
I hear you on that. And you touched pretty much everything that I think a lot of people weren't really aware of until the virus happened. So to me, I kind of look at COVID as being like a blessing and a curse, because a lot of the stuff that I wasn't really cautious about, I'm cautious about now. Like you said, I never would have thought twice to wipe down my steering wheel after somebody gets in the car and change my oil. But it's like, why wouldn't you do that anyway? Like they have germs, somebody else was touching your stuff, then I'm gonna touch it and touch my eye and stuff like that. Even going out, it's very minimum now. We had already started like cutting back on like going out, like to save money, budget, stuff like that. But even more so when the virus hit, and a lot of things that we do now, it is outdoors, but you can't really be safe doing that either. Like nowhere is really safe, but just being more cautious and planning. So it's like, we are going to go somewhere. We got to make sure we have everything we need to like wipe down, disinfect. But do you really want to do that? Is it really worth all of that? Is it really worth you taking a risk of getting sick or contracting something? Not really. So a lot of the stuff that we do plan on doing now, it's like, it's better anyway. It's more thought out. And a lot of the things that we thought the kids needed to enjoy life and have fun, they really don't ask for much. They just want to have fun, eat pizza all day long if they can. Just have fun. Yeah. That's their main thing. So
love them and have an. That's it.
That's it.
Make things complicated. Kids really are easy.
They are.
Like
that's all they need.
I could change my voice and just talk to Josiah in a different voice, and he finds that so funny. He can crack up for the longest time, and I'm like, oh, that's all you
that's it. That's all you needed, girl. Yes, they don't ask for much. It's the simple things. So again, like the virus really helped me remember that it's the simple things in life that really matters. Like just take it easy. Like you got it. It's gonna be okay.
It really brings the whole conversation full circle. We talked about the simplicity of our childhood. And so as adults, we try to make things more complicated, but our kids just want simple stuff too.
You hit it right on the head, Stacey. So I have a tip. I always got something for y'all to give, and Stacey has our word of the day. But before I give that to you guys, Stacey, like what are some things that help you stay focused, help you stay on track?
Writing things down, that's very important for me. And I think that's why creating a company that focuses on journals and planners was so important, because I tell people all the time, if I don't write it down, it never happened. I don't know what you're talking about if I don't make a to-do list. So a to-do list is very important for me. Seeing things in my own handwriting helps me somehow memorize things. And so that's one way that I really stay focused. One thing that I do want to mention is that outside of staying focused, it's important to do things for your self-care, because that helps your brain as well. So for me, my self-care is listening to books on Audible. I love reading, but being busy, sometimes I just want to just lay back with my AirPods in and just listen. Right now, I'm listening to Dr. Sanjay Gupta's book about, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of his book. But anyway, it's about focusing. That's terrible. That's
it's okay. Look, we're gonna make sure we leave it in the description for y'all, okay?
It's about focusing and the power of the brain. I'm not selling his book well at all because I just really just had my bad, y'all.
Look, we got some books we're gonna drop for y'all.
It's book. It has a lot of good tips. It talks about not multitasking because you lose focus. Obviously, he's a brain surgeon. He's a journalist. And Dr. Sanjay obviously is a lover of people. It's a really good book. He's actually reading the book. He's the narrator, which is a big selling point for me because when there's a person who's well known and we know their voice, but they don't read their books, that's a turn off for me. I'm like, I should just read this myself. I hear my own voice. I want to hear your voice. But anyway, his book is really, really great. I will put it in the description. My bad, Sanjay. Yeah. But it's a good book.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because while you were over there struggling to think of the name of the book, I'm over here trying to think about the author of the book. I'm reading, I'm like, ooh, I know the title, but
like, what in the world?
It got a nice title though. It's called What Happens Behind Closed Doors. So I was like, what? I can't remember the author though. The book is right downstairs, but
interesting. But yeah, so his that's what I do for self-care. And then what I do to help me focus is write things down. Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. That's dope. You know,
I should have wrote
in so many ways.
A book. Maybe I would have been able to remember.
It's okay. That's one of the things that helps me too, writing stuff down, but also music. Music is therapy to me. Yeah, I might hear a couple bars. I might draw some. No, just playing. I got bars. Okay. No. But music is like my go-to. Just again, you know, reflecting back on childhood really quick. A lot of times I didn't really have people I could go and talk to. So it's like the music would be my therapist, or, you know, it would do the talking for me or talk to me. Like on bad days, you know, you turn the song on, pick my spirits up. But I love that, you know, a lot of people have come to realize that you have to be able to release somehow and get on track. But there are also a lot of people too who don't know how to do that. And that's where you and I come in place, you know, to show them like, hey, these are some things that you can do. Give it a shot. It may not work for everybody, but how do you know what's going to work if you've never tried it? And so before I read off the tip, Stacey, I would love for you to give them the word of the day before we say deuces to our sisters.
Word of the day comes from my Choose Joy 365 Success Planner. You can find this on stacycreated.com. The word of the day is victory. Christ came so that we could have life and have it more abundantly. Declare victory in your life and over everything that is attached to you.
Yes. And that's on stacycreated.com, right?
stacycreated.com.
Oh, you got it. And look at that, you guys.
Ain't it pretty?
So pretty. I love it. I love it. And the tip I have for you guys is coming from my blog page, mollybeauty.blogspot.com. I have a lot of tips and tricks there for you guys to help you out. But this is tip number 7 from the top 10 tips on how to be happier and better. And it's called Stay Focused. Stacey, you had hit it right on the head with, you know, the book you're reading, and he talks about not multitasking. I wish somebody would have told me that, because you really don't get nowhere trying to do it. You never finish one thing at a time. You never finish. Okay. But being focused means that you are solely focused on one activity that you need to complete. Staying focused also means that you are setting clear goals and objectives. Clear. Okay. Clear. Okay. And when you make decisions at any given time, there are plenty of things and people that will distract you, only if you allow it to do it. So commit to using your time to complete one task in one sitting, and set aside the unimportant tasks so that you eliminate distractions. Undivided attention to the task at hand is necessary to get the results that you want.
Absolutely.
Stay focused, guys.
Clear goals and objectives, because a lot of times we just like write down what we want to do, but we don't map out a way how to get there. And so in planner, I have SMART goals, which means S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for relevant, and T is for time-based. So you can definitely use this planner. It's so much information in here for you ladies. And I'm just so excited to be able to share this information with you guys.
Yes, well, Stacey, I'm so glad that we are here doing this for our sisters. Listen,
sister.
If you guys want to follow our individual Instagram pages, you can catch me on Instagram at Truly Portia. I know a lot of y'all small businesses, entrepreneurs are out there struggling. So listen, I'm your virtual sis. Hit me up. And Stacey, what's your Instagram? Because you got so many good vibes and goodness going on with you. They need to catch up with you too.
Okay. So you can either follow Stacey Created on IG, which is my business page for my journals and planners, or you can follow my personal page, Stacey Created Girl Boss.
Girl Boss, period. Okay. Period. Okay. Yes, you guys. So we appreciate you for hanging around. I hope you got all the tips that you needed and you got the victory. Stacey said it. You got the victory. Okay. Understand that. This is a safe space. You can come here, join us, connect with us. And if you are somewhere suffering in silence, we want you to come stand in solidarity with us, sis. Okay. Bye.
Previously recorded episodes.
The year's almost over. Everybody has been through a lot. For some of you, you've been through enough, right? So take care of yourself. Really focus on self-care and watch how things shift for you.
Off topic, but you mentioned one time you never thought that you would be friends with someone like me. What does that mean? I want you to tell the viewers what that means. Looking for a place to listen, learn, and laugh? Then come on, sis, and join Truly Portia and Stacey J every Monday and Wednesday, where we discuss growth in every area of life. No topic is off limits. Let's grow together, stand in solidarity, and fix each other's crowns. Brought to you by PS Consulting Firm, because there's more. So let's go ahead and talk about it, Portia.